Hello again, everyone. So, where are we now? It's coming up to 1500 CT, just gone. 1400 CT, where I am on this Wednesday afternoon. So we're pretty much halfway through all the panels here for WFS Live. And don't forget, if you've missed anything, then don't worry. We've got all bases covered for you. So on this WFS platform, you can watch it 24 hours after it's originally gone live, as we say. Then for any family and friends who haven't signed up to WFS, well, don't worry, we've got an option there for them as well, which is called Live Now Global, available on all the major sort of social networks, so you can see it on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, that kind of stuff. And also a little bit later on, we'll pop it on YouTube for you as well. So if you want to come back after the event and you want to have a look on the WFS YouTube channel, then you can absolutely do that as well. Now, we're going to be talking about the notion of resilience and impact, obviously because of the coronavirus pandemic. I mean, resilience, one of the real key attributes, hasn't it, in the last year? None more so by football clubs across the globe. And also going to get the perspective of a league and also the players' perspective in this next panel at different levels of the football pyramid. Well, we've all had to overcome challenges due to coronavirus, be it, losing hundreds of millions of euros or dollars or pounds or yen, even maybe having to furlough or let employees go, maybe even the simple existence of your club being put in jeopardy. Those lucky enough to survive now have to find the strength to go again. But how can they stay stable moving forward and future-proof themselves against any further pandemics? How are their financial operations now impacted? What new paths can they follow to increase revenues? How do they develop their sports departments? And what globally concrete solutions can be found? Big questions there, but I have confidence that our next panel will be able to ask them and pass that test with flying colours. Let's find out then in the company of the following speakers. The General Manager at Club Bolívar, Carlos Benavides, the Director General of Operations, Development and Competitions at LigaMX, Victor Guevara, Athlete Representative for FIFPro Africa, Geremi Njitap, and Acting CEO at Maccabi Tel-Aviv, Sharon Tammam, and also our moderator. You can see her right next to me. It is a managing partner at Club Affairs, Siri Wallenius. Siri, we are really covering the continents, covering the globe with our different perspectives here. The floor is yours.
Exactly. Thank you very much, David, and welcome everyone. Thanks for tuning into this panel that has been designed by us at Club Affairs. We're very happy to have such an illustrious panel here with us today. And with this panel, we're also launching the issue 6 of our COVID resilience and mitigation issues that we have been working on together with our partners at LTT Sports. So this will all be shared with you, and we will kind of discuss a few of these topics that we cover in this issue throughout this panel. And it is in this time when it's so difficult to travel with all the travel restrictions and the closed borders and quarantining measures, it's really great to be able to connect with people across the globe like this, but also the different discussions we've had when we put together this issue has been like traveling for us, and to hear about all these experiences and be able to share this knowledge around. So I will invite everyone that is listening into this panel to kind of begin this journey with us across the globe with our 4 great speakers here in the panel. So we will start actually, I guess, from the bottom of the screen, but closest to me where I am in Switzerland. So Sharon Tammam, Acting CEO, welcome, Sharon.
Thank you very much. Hello. Hi.
Hello. In the beautiful country of Israel, yes. And I think we will travel a little further down south to Cameroon, where we have the former top star player and 2 times Champions League winner, Geremi Njitap. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you again for having me in such a big panel.
It's an honor for us too. And then we will travel across the Atlantic and say buenos dias to Mexico, to Victor Guevara in Mexico City.
Hello to everybody. It's a pleasure to share the floor with all my colleagues. Good morning, in America, and good afternoon, the other part of the world.
Exactly. And a little further south from you, we have also in La Paz, Carlos Benavides. You're also very welcome.
Siri, how are you? It's a pleasure to be with all of you here in World Football Summit.
Thank you. And to build on the introduction that David gave, I mean, this has been unprecedented times for everyone and a big shock to the entire industry. So we kind of wanted to look at the positives and share some positive examples and a few things that might have been a bit unexpected. And I came across this expression from a news correspondent saying that you should focus on the dolphins of Venice, meaning those unexpected things kind of emerging from the crisis, which I think is a very beautiful expression. So I wonder if we can start with you, Sharon. I know you also have Italian background, so you would appreciate those dolphins. If you found something you kind of didn't expect to see but has emerged throughout this crisis?
Yeah, there are a few things that I might say that have been positive, and I would start maybe from the most positive thing that is basically continuing to play. When in March we started with the lockdown, it seemed that it would never be possible to finish this season, and we didn't know what would happen with the season afterwards. So I think it was a great positive, the fact that we were able to finish the season, and the fact that now we are playing, and we are playing in European competition and domestic competition, because it's very, very difficult to finalize and to approve all the special rules and regulations that are affecting football. So I think I'm grateful for that. And if I might speak locally, maybe, then another thing that for us in Maccabi has been really positive was the support of our fans regarding, as we all know, there is a great economic impact to this pandemic, both for the clubs, but everywhere, and for each individual. And basically, our season ticket holders were not able to watch all the end of the season, which is the playoffs. So we had a credit plan, and many season ticket holders basically decided to waive the money to the club, which I think it's we really appreciated it, and we still appreciate it from that perspective. So these are maybe the two most important and most positive things that I can take from this pandemic.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, you're raising the issue there on the fans, which is an important stakeholder, and maybe we realize it even more that they're an important stakeholder. But another real key stakeholder in the game, they're definitely the players. So Geremi, I would ask you as well, what kind of positives did you see? Did you see an increased value for the value of the players in the squad, or what kind of positives would you bring with you from this crisis?
Well, like Sharon said, there has been a few positive things that what is can come from my mind is that first of all, the players come back to the training, because you know that when the crisis started, everything was locked down now by the government of many countries. So the positive thing is that most of the government have give the authorization to start the competition. That is a good thing, that because the player was affected, it's not easier for a footballer, a young guy, when he stay at home without doing what he loves. So this is one of the things that have been positive. And another thing, I will say it again, it is the development of these kind of tools. Can you before this pandemic, I did not know how to use these tools. Now we can having an opportunity to have a meeting by this tool, so that the pandemic has not only caused drama but also develop these kind of tools. So this is a few things that I can mention.
Mm-hmm. Indeed, yes. And speaking about tools, I know, Victor, that you also have a few things developed within the league, and maybe COVID actually worked as an accelerator for a few of these innovations. What would you say?
Yes, of course, Siri. One of the things that encouraged the pandemic is to move in a different ways. We create three different kind of opportunities. One of them was with technology, innovation, and development. One of our main thing was tech, and we start to create different kind of of webinars and masterclass. On the other hand, we launched a project that we call EA Sports League, that it was a big success in Mexico. And this was a project that we stopped for a little bit, and in the moment we need to launch. And it was a big success. We are very proud about it. And as well, talking about the league, as Sharon, we had a similar situation. We stopped our league and we established the plan for the season 2021. And we create a project that was based for bring value to our stakeholders. We understand that, unfortunately, we have closed door stadiums. We just have a few that opened the door, talking about two venues, Aguascalientes, Mazatlan, and today Guadalajara. But most of the matches were closed door matches, and bring us the possibility to create a new strategy, not just with LigaMX, that is our top division, it's as well from Women's League, and this our second division, the Liga Expansión. And it's a project that brings also the opportunity to create a whole week of football in Mexico, starting on Monday, finishing on Sunday, and try to not overlap matches, try to bring value not just to one of our stakeholders, that is the most important, the fans, as well the broadcasters, the brands, create a whole topic around that is Guardianes, that is our social responsibility campaign. And we create something, we move from one problem to bring value in a different ways.
That's very interesting, yes. And Carlos, last but not least, you were quite new in your country and your club, so you arrived during this crisis. So how was that experience?
For me, it has been like very hard. I have been used like to interact with people always, and to be in a physical space, and to come to a new country, a new club, meet new people who you are going to work with, and by this technology, and not knowing the day by day work that for me is very important, has been tough. But bringing the good things from it. In South America, I feel I felt a big union of our industry, clubs, players. Some of our stakeholders were like, we were together to bring football alive again in the way we could. And I felt that was a great feeling in most of the countries of South America. Sometimes TV have paid for games that haven't been played. Players have been really open to change, and train differently, and live differently what is their work and passion. And clubs, I have been amazed how they have been like really into changing, really into giving the possibilities to the game to come back. So I would say that our industry have been like united, and that have come with I think in most of countries, and not have to be in the big countries, the governments have helped a lot for football to come back and be one of the escapes from this lockdown we had in our countries. So I have been very proud of seeing this in our industry.
Yeah, that's very interesting. And we've heard many of these kind of stories about joint collaboration, and that stakeholders have got together and talked to each other more and exchanged. So how can we build on this, and how can we continue in this spirit of collaboration? What would you say, Carlos?
I would say we have to take advantage of the crisis. Crises always are big opportunities, and start to talk things that before we weren't able to talk, and we were not open to talk. And I feel we have a great opportunity in Latin America and South America, especially because I think we have a model. It's difficult for me to talk about crisis and not talking about politics in football. And I think we have to change the model, and take this time to try not to be, we don't have to rely always in the big political decisions. We have to take our destiny. We have to be together as clubs. We have to to be together as players, and I think this is the moment to change some things, because sometimes political decisions always like rely in the game, that I don't think is always the first thing that we have in top of mind, and players that they are always at the end of the change, playing a lot and putting their own physical into this comeback, no? And I think there are some things out there.
On the topic of this of collaboration and greater means of working together, I would like to pass the ball to Sharon also, because what we've seen very recently was a signed agreement, an MOU between the Israeli Football Federation and the one from the United Arab Emirates, if I'm not mistaken. So could you tell us a little bit more about this and how you will see that develop further?
Well, I think this is very new, so it's a bit difficult now to understand the scope of this collaboration. I would say, first of all, it's great to have peace now between these countries that, until now we had sort of relations, but now these relations become more and more close. And I think that in general, football is always at the forefront of uniting people. So I would imagine that hopefully we will be able to have partnerships or at least collaborations between football clubs in the two countries, and also to have maybe tournaments or different kind of opportunities that might come along. For sure, we are looking also into investments. We are looking also into opportunities of sponsorships. So I think that at the moment, everyone in Israel are looking at it as a big opportunity and a big chance for development and mutual development and mutual collaboration and unity. But it's really, really, really at the beginning. So it's just now a matter of vision more than a pragmatic situation.
Yeah, that's very exciting and something to look forward to and follow closely. And I know, Victor,
Definitely.
you're also, with your league, you're also collaborating a lot with the MLS. So that is also kind of across borders. So could you explain us a bit more how that is working?
Yes, as you said, well, since 2018, we have a joint venture with MLS. And we start with different kind of projects that in the beginning was just talking about sports. We start with a competition that was the Campeones Cup. Then we start to growing up a little bit more with a tournament between both leagues that we call Leagues Cup. Unfortunately, in 2020, we had a big plan to expand the Leagues Cup, and as well to create a unique all-star game between MLS and LigaMX that probably in the following years we could play. But this is more not just a joint venture about sports. It's talking about best practices, about collaborate between both leagues, and as well to collaborate with, as you know, in 2020 we're going to be the venue of the World Cup with Canada, US, and Mexico. And it's a good opportunity to share not just about our country, it's about our region. CONCACAF is growing up. CONCACAF is trying to do the best things every single day. We are working together, MLS, LigaMX, and CONCACAF, with the leadership of Victor Montegliani, with the main purpose to improve every single day the skills of the region. And the idea is that this joint venture between MLS and LigaMX could impact not just between the countries, it impact in the whole region.
Wow. Yeah, that's great. But I would like to look ahead. You were mentioning the World Cup. I mean, we have another World Cup coming up first in Qatar. But with this COVID crisis and the pause of all competitions, many conversations I had with the clubs were that they were very worried what will happen, in years to come. So of course there's a crisis now, but are we pushing the problem forward? So I would like to ask Geremi about these challenges looking ahead on a very tight calendar, and how you would see that from a kind of player's perspective of many international games, club games, and how would the players be able to cope with this?
Very interesting question. You know, when you are as a young to a professional career, it is a big decision, and your ultimate goal is to play. If it's not, it is very frustrating. Therefore, I will say that footballers want first to play, especially in Africa. I will also add that it is better to play in front of spectators. And the best it is to have a real treatment against this COVID-19, and then allow player, as I said, spectators to go back on the pitch as soon as possible. But in terms of match schedules, it is our day-to-day battle. We fight hard for a schedule that allow player to rest at least 72 hours to encounter and put a stretch hold on their calendar matches. You know, when you take player like Messi or Cristiano, they end up one season by playing 60 matches, which is very very risky, because in the next season they can be exposed in getting some problem, muscle problem, or physical problem. So that's why I said we hope that with this pandemic we will try to improve a lot of things, such of like organization, matches. I know that FIFA have take some rules that some matches we can have five change in one match in one game, which is very good. So that's what I can say on that matter.
Yeah, I would like to ask Carlos as well, because you have the rare example of still not starting domestic league. And I know there was a meeting either today or if it was yesterday late, if you would start or not, but you've been able to continue the international club competitions at least. So how has that been for your players and your squad, and what kind of strategies have you had to keep them motivated?
Yes, Bolivia is a unique thing because it's the only league in South America haven't started. This has been a political problem. No, it's not a sporting problem. This is not because of players or the game. This is because of people and interests. And I'm lucky to be in a club that the ownership wants to develop a great club in South America, like Bolivar, and he have great plans for us. But we need an environment to help us. And right now, yesterday, as you said, we have a congress of the professional football here in Bolivia. They agreed to come back and play. But as you know, clubs sometimes want only think in their own opportunities, and they want to finish before December. So we have to play 98 games in a month, and clubs like mine club, that we are still in Copa Sudamericana, and we have to play today against Lanús. We have to play 3 games in 3 days, and we don't have the players or the organizations to be able to do that. And like Geremi said, we are putting in risk our players, and I feel sometimes political and economics like go ahead from the players and the game. And this time Bolivia is like we are showing this is happening in a lot of South America. And I live a great experience when I was in CMP in ECA, that clubs, when they come together, they can do very interesting things. But when we rely in CONMEBOL 8 or FIFA 8, they have helped us, but we rely too much on them, and that becomes like we need to do some things that we are not able to do, and we uh, finish doing things like we are doing here in Bolivia. And my feeling I have been a foreign player, not a very good player like Geremi, but I have been a player, and I feel a lot, and I put always the game and the players on top of the decisions, and I feel we should turn a little to that side. No, we are taking decisions like only feeling in how we finish things and what is my convenience. What it, like is happening here in Bolivia, and for us, it has been like terrible because now we have to play to go to Copa Libertadores next year. We don't have the players and the schedule to do it in a good way, and we could always be losing opportunities that our ownership have been seeking with important investments and being very professional. So the thing I'm saying here is like our players have to play in the first level of South America, and they haven't been in the competition, so it have been very very tough for them and for the club always. And now we are putting in risk our future because of political decisions and not putting and not taking this like a whole, trying to get the best for the game, the players, and Bolivian football.
But how could you do to kind of unite the clubs and speak together? Are there any kind of joint initiatives where you can have a voice together to affect these decisions?
Yesterday we have been together like all the clubs after like more than half a year when we were like in two sides because of political things. And yesterday I felt like own interests were on top of on the table, and we have a great challenge because if we don't get together like clubs that we made football, we grow the players, and we are the daily passion. If we are not like united, it's going to be very difficult to be able to bring revenues and to bring stability to South American football, and especially in Bolivia. So I think that's a great challenge we have, like of leadership. And Bolivar, like a big club in Bolivia, we are like giving a lot of thinking and energy in how to try and build confidence in between clubs to try and work this out. Because what is happening from now to 31 of December in Bolivia is for me, and it's not technical, and we are putting in risk financial things, but on top of everything, players and the game.
And Victor, from a league perspective, you were talking about the scheduling before, where you're trying to spread out the games also for the fans to keep an interest. How do you see this with the match schedule going forward, and with a possible other lockdowns or new interruptions to the game?
One of the things that we realize is that if we want to bring value to the industry, we need to change a little bit the way that we are doing the things. That's the reason why we in Mexico we had the assembly of the LigaMX, and we presented to them this option to create a calendar that bring all the opportunity to not overlap matches. We have the one of our blessings is that our matches are broadcasting live in Mexico and US. And the idea to not overlap is because we could bring value in both countries at the same time. And the strategy was to create unique slots on Thursday night, Friday, Sunday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And for example, it showed to us that the people like it, and the broadcasters could show the Mexican football in a different way. But as well, talking about our second division Liga Expansión, we try to schedule matches on Tuesday, Wednesday, and some of them on Thursday, and the impact was fantastic. At the same time, we as a league, as an industry, we took the decision to open a new post-season stage, a playoff stage that we call. It's a knockout stage, like a run of 16 before the quarterfinals, and the interest of the industry was huge because, for example, the last week we have matches That is a knockout match, 90 minutes. In case of a tie, we have penalty kicks. But the same strategy, we move from Liga de Expansión. Yesterday we have three fantastic matches. But talking about to try to create impact for example, in the women's league, we scheduled the matches in the same way to not overlap with the men's league. It wasn't a strategy. It was not just to schedule matches. It's a strategy to try to bring value, because we understand that if the fan could see the matches in both sides, Mexico and US, it's opportunity that the brands could show their talent and to show the brands in both sides. And at the same time, it was to reactive the league. It was tough because of the COVID, we need to make tests every week or every 15 days. And sometimes you need to reschedule a match. But one of the things is and I need to recognize, is that everybody's open to this challenge. The clubs, the players, the broadcast, everybody around this family of Mexican football is open to help to finish the tournament and to continue with the impact of Mexican football in Mexico and US.
That is great. So you're continuing in the spirit of collaboration there as well.
Yes, for sure.
So, yes, and on the topic of women's football, I kind of wanted to pass that one to Geremi as well, because at FIFPro, I know that you've been kind of warning that the COVID-19 could impact women's football heavily. But we have a great example there from Mexico trying to help and encourage women's football. So could you give an examples from FIFPro's view as well on how you work to kind of promote the women's players and the women's game?
Well, first of all, I would like to say that this is a very challenging time for football industry and footballers. You just emphasized it well. What to remember from this crisis concerning women football? You know that it's not only FIFA, but it is FIFA who have decided to develop women football. That's why who are partner of FIFA have joined that idea to first of all to develop, because you know that in Africa there's a big problem about professionalism, because most of the country are not well developed. We don't have infrastructure. We don't have good people who manage the structure. I mean, when I talk about structure, it is the teams. That's why most of the time we are talking about professionalism. It's not so concerning the women. It is me? Okay. I was saying that women football has been a challenge for FIFPro, because we think that women can also be part of these games, this industry of football. And we saw the last World Cup, especially in my country, we saw the last two World Cup. They have performed very well. So I think what FIFPro and FIFA are doing is to put more money. And we know that with that crisis, it became even a big problem, because without the crisis, women was not taken well. I mean, not also women. In general, in Africa, there were a lot of unpaid salary. But now, I think with the new decision of FIFA and FIFPro, it is put money on that to encourage women who want to become professional footballers to do their jobs perfectly.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and I think we had some problems there in Tel-Aviv, but I would still kind of try to involve you again, Sharon, into the discussion here. So what kind of best practices do you see moving forward that we can kind of use from this crisis, and kind of, you know, what can we say when we look back in a few years that we have learned coming out of this?
I think that the most important thing is efficiency, and try to really, come together as a club and as an industry to understand really in terms of football organization, how to be more efficient, how to be more organized, how to be more, logistically clever, I would say, in terms of really football organization, but at the same time, also in terms of management, because it's a huge challenge, the economical challenge that we have, that the clubs have. So basically, I think that everyone is reanalyzing and reorganizing its own expenses, re-understanding the revenue sources, and basically re-strategizing the entire club and the entire vision and the entire strategy. So I think that from that perspective, we can learn and we can even improve and come out better than we were before.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and Carlos, if I pass the same question to you, I mean, you were kind of new coming into this club during the crisis, but what will you take as key learnings when you look back in a few years' time?
Yeah, we have been clever in how we have managed inside, but how we continue our contact and having that passion of our fans, and like they are living how they can this passion and for the clubs, and how we engage with them and continue being one of their daily top of mind things to be on it. And the other thing, I have a takeaway of how we are going to work in women football in South America, because we have lost a lot of time, and youth plans and academies. 1 year is a lot in a young player that is developing. So that two things have been like we have to work it out, because we are going to lose a lot of time in talent that was growing in women football and in youth academies.
Mm-hmm. That's very interesting. Yeah, and Victor, do you have any key learnings as well when you will look back in a few years' time on this year?
I completely agree with Sharon. We encourage to everybody to be efficient. It's in the side of the structure of the league, but as well to think outside of the box. I think it's a good show to everybody that we need to try to bring things to the table that bring value to the industry, to try to move to the way that you are doing the things, to try to innovate, development, improve, to try to do different kind of things around, not just the men's league, women's league, the second division, youth teams. We have a unique youth teams in structure in Mexico. But one of the most important thing is that, as in a personal way, to value the life, to value the family, to value all the things around you, because in some moment you think that it's just because you are waking up every single day, and you never realize that the COVID showed to us that you are that is different, the life, no? It's different. We are very happy to have this kind of panel, but sometimes you cannot have this opportunity. And I think one of the key things is to value the life. No?
That's very important, yes. And I will finish with you, Geremi. Do you also have some key learnings to share with us?
Yes, I think this crisis came first to remind us that health is the basic of all activity. Without health, nothing is possible. So he have give us the opportunity to collaborate. Now you can see the institution of the football governance. They have already spoke each other before, but now I think they came more closer. He has also strengthened the way, and also the voice of player union around the world. So this is a few words, the first lesson that we have learned from this crisis.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the key message, I guess, from everyone in this year. And unfortunately, time is running away from us. But I would like to thank you, all the panelists, for all your interesting insights and for connecting with us from all the different parts of the world. It's been interesting to hear from you and learn from your experiences. And we would be very happy to share our issue 6 from Club Affairs and Entity Sports to everyone who was listening into this panel. So over to you, David.
Thank you, Siri. Yes, great panel there. Just picking up on a few of the themes. Spirit of collaboration, very, very prominent there. Positive mindsets, changing the model, changing the destiny, efficiency, logistically being clever, coming together as a club and industry. All very positive messages there from all of our speakers. Thank you very much indeed for your input. Okay, 5 down, 3 to go on WFS Live Day 3. And we're coming back with how football clubs secure partnerships outside their local geographies. That will come up in just a couple of minutes' time.